The Iran's nuclear talk is still out there. It could probably be the longest negotiation of the history, and fairly the strangest one too. Iran has been insisting over the last 2 decades that they don't want and did not want any nuclear weapon. And the United States, which is backed by Israel, has been insisting that no, you just don't know it yourself, but you want it. And for this reason, I'm going to put harsh economic sanctions in place against you. We have heard at least once per week in the last 2 decades from Israeli officials that Iran is going to showcase its nuclear bomb this week. And that week, we have not still met. The last round of negotiations over Iran's nuclear deal was not successful as everyone expected, but at least it showed that it's reaching the final stage where all involved parties have to decide. 17 months after the United States and Iran began negotiating a possible return to the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, or JCPOA, abandoned unilaterally by President Donald Trump, the European Union has presented a final proposal for the two sides to consider before the talks collapse for good. The EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell said Monday on Twitter, "What can be negotiated has been negotiated, and it's now in a final text." If you are still watching this video, it means that you probably like it, so let's go into details to know what has been negotiated. A State Department spokesman speaking on the condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive negotiations with the New York Times said the United States was ready to quickly conclude a deal and that the EU proposal was the only possible basis for it. US officials are skeptical that Iran is prepared to roll back its program in exchange for relief from sanctions that have weakened its economy. There is a feeling that Iran may have agreed with Russia not to finalize the nuclear deal, at least until the winter, so that Russia had time to put immense pressure on Europeans for accepting its requests over Ukraine. For some EU countries like Germany, serious warnings about lack of gas are already showing up among citizens. But the reality is that in a notable shift, Iran has retreated from two key demands. One is an insistence that the United States remove Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps from its official list of foreign terrorist organizations, according to people briefed on the negotiations and two Iranians familiar with the talks. That demand became one of the final roadblocks to restoring the deal after President Biden refused to overturn the Guard Corps terrorist designation issued in 2019 by Mr. Trump. The other one is an insistence that the Biden administration provide guarantees that the future president will not withdraw from deal even if Iran upholds its commitments as Mr. Trump did in 2018. The Iranians have come to accept that such a promise is not possible, according to New York Times. Such a breakthrough would provide Mr. Biden with a foreign policy achievement as he heads into midterm elections in the fall. Though some European officials say the American president may be wary of political criticism over renewing an Obama-era agreement that Republicans almost uniformly denounce, another factor is a fresh Iranian demand that the International Atomic Energy Agency, as the UN nuclear watchdog, drop a 3-year investigation into unexplained man-made uranium at various Iranian research sites, including some that Tehran refuses to let IAEA inspectors visit, and Iran has denied that it had military intentions for enriched uranium. This request is seen as a fair one in Tehran, as the uranium found in those facilities was enriched under 5% and belongs to almost 20 years ago, so it's logical to ask to end it. Tehran sees this investigation as a political pressure instrument on Iran and nothing more. Even if finally signed, the new deal would take months to enact. Critics noted that even if Iran agreed to the enrichment limits in the original deal, the country has enough knowledge to build a nuclear weapon if it chose to do so, making it a threshold state. And this situation is really desired for Tehran because they would like to have a permanent pressure on US, as Washington has the sanction instrument against Iran. If Tehran declines the current Western offer, Iran won't probably abandon the talks because it sees itself as holding leverage over a West eager for a deal that would bring more Iranian oil into a global economy strained by high energy prices. But still, a final and permanent removal of economic sanctions is what Tehran wishes to get in return, and that is not what US would provide. They should, but they won't. Thanks for watching. There are also dozens of videos on similar issues on my channel, so don't forget to check them out and subscribe.